I got.
Hey, Tom, I think I got two of them here. Here, Tom.
I've
I
already
got,
put them
I got two of them.
Well,
Tom, I got two of
one
them
right
anyway.
Oh,
behind me.
because you know why they're over
Tom.
there?
Tom,
I
take
think
this one. We
Tom, I got
some
two of
right
them.
Tom, if you need one.
I don't know why I've got two of them, but I got two of them.
I did too, so I
You're
gave
gonna
him.
find it in your
I
little
always get two.
handy dandy folders.
Can't know players foul program.
All right, we're live.
Everybody, gotta keep their mouth shut now.
All right. We'll call the Village of Mount Sterling Council meeting for August 28th, 2023 to order with roll call, please.
Steven,
Here.
Bill,
Here.
Joyce,
Here.
Becky,
Here.
Ross.
Here.
Andy.
Here.
All's present.
Okay. Dave, you want to lead us in prayer, please?
Lord, thank you for providing us with this beautiful day, Lord. And Lord, be with the council tonight and our mayor and all our law enforcement, Lord. And Lord, remember the ones that have lost their loved ones and touch them tonight. And Lord, be with all the shut-ins in our country today. In Jesus' wonderful, wonderful name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the following minutes from a council meeting held on August 14th, 2023.
You have that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, Joyce and David. Roll call?
David,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Andy.
Yes.
Okay, takes us to the mayor's report. I really don't have much other than, if anybody on council or anybody in the audience has anything for a newsletter, I need that up by the, I don't know, end of the week, I guess, so I can get that put out. So that takes us to President Pro Tem report.
I also don't have very much. I'm going to hold my comments until later. We got something to talk about.
Okey doke. Public comments, anyone? No? No executive session. That takes us to our department reports. Mr. Dill, Sheriff's report, please.
Okay. All right, you got the nature's report in front of you. A lot of you probably already heard about budget storage. If you go down,
Yeah.
you'll see 2 breaking and entering. It was actually 53 units that were, I don't think they entered all of them. I think they got maybe 5. But they did damage 53 doors.
Really?
Yeah.
Have we supposed to find out about that if we've got stuff there? Are you talking about down?
Budget storage, yeah,
Really?
yeah.
We've
If
got
he
2
had,
units there.
if he hadn't contacted you, then it probably wasn't yours. Now, the deputy, 3rd shift deputy, did catch him the second night in the act. Yeah, the first night, they thought it was the wind because we had that storm come through and there was 11 doors pushed in. And I was like, okay, whatever, it's the wind. And then the next night, the deputy pulled in, saw more doors pushed in. There was a vehicle there. Led him on a high-speed chase, cleared a climb road, Franklin County. Didn't catch him, but it is what it is. But at least they know we're here. I'm assuming they're from Franklin County, and this is just a easy way out here to them. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay. The yellow light over here on Columbus Street, if you're going eastbound, it's out.
The one on the right.
Yeah, if you're coming
I
from
saw that
Sunoco
yesterday.
to the red light, the yellow light's out.
Okay.
Our traffic guy and the sheriff had got together, and I don't know if you guys ever been through West Jeff and seen the small speed signs. They were talking about maybe the village getting 1 or 2. The sheriff said he would entertain half. So that's something to think about, and we can Those are something that can be moved around the town. I mean, they're mounted to the pole, but you can still move them
You have thoughts where you'd put them?
wherever we think we need them.
Okay.
I mean, that would be something that the safety committee, if we did go ahead and get them, the safety committee, we'd sit down, talk about it, where we'd want them, and then go from there.
I had a question. So, a resident had asked me, those little black coils that are on like London, you know, there was like a,
All the goes across the road?
yeah.
Yeah,
He wanted to know, how did that come about? What
that's
was-
ODOT.
Okay, so that's an ODOT.
Yeah, they're doing a traffic study. I don't know if it's for the freeway project or
Okay.
what.
They were asking about that, because I said, I don't remember you saying anything about it or streets talking about it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, and my last thing is, you've all seen the dump trucks coming into town loaded both directions, but now I'm getting them going down Market Street. Loaded. And that road's not designed for that kind of traffic daily.
No.
Was it just
So-
trying to miss the light or something?
Yeah, yeah, and they're going out to the solar farm to dump, but we need some signs up. No through trucks. And then when we have our festivals, we can put trash bags over them. I'm sure we've got an ordinance in place already,
We do.
but we need to stop that right now.
Hey, Jack, on the shooting, was there shots fired within the village or?
I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
The way this came about was Fayette County Hospital had a person walk in the hospital with a apparent gunshot wound.
Yeah.
They called their sheriff's office, they went over. The individual told them he was within the village at an apartment complex. However, upon investigation, nothing's been found. Nobody's ever came forward. So,
But there was somebody wounded then.
yeah, that's, I mean,
Yeah, mhm.
but whether it was here or not, we don't know.
Okay, okay,
Shots fired, that was a firework.
okay, okay.
That's just the way it came in, as shots fired. All right, is there any questions on your nature report or what we've talked about? The speed signs, I think they said they're like $3,000 for both.
For both? For both.
Yeah,
Two of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
3,000
So
for
that-
two,
That's
Yeah,
total
that-
cost, or is that would be half of it?
That'd be total cost, I
total
think.
cost.
So that's something the safety committee needs to look into, get with our
We have a
sheriff.
meeting Tuesday,
Do you?
yes.
Absolutely.
Not tomorrow, but
Not tomorrow, but next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Okay, well, if there's no further questions, I'm gonna turn it over to the mayor again.
Yep.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank
Thanks,
you.
Jack.
Law director's report, we don't, nope. Mr. Byrd for the village administrator report, please.
Mayor Darlington, members of council, Courtney. Just a few things that happened over, since we last met. We're up to 294 potholes that we've repaired. And tomorrow, we're gonna finish up on Chestnut Street, and then we'll put the Durapatch to bed till next spring. So I think we did a good job this year. I hope pretty impressive. We should be up around 350 after Chestnut's one big giant pothole. We had quite a storm that came through over the week, and we had a lot of cleanup to do after that. A lot of the residents helped us out there, so we appreciate that. Generator over here at Town Hall, I want to thank the Sheriff's Department. They smelled the natural gas leak. I think I got a call around 4 in the morning, and we had to put a new gas line in. I sent a thank you note out to the sheriff and let him know that we appreciate that. That could have been bad news. But,
Oh,
yeah, we-
I didn't hear that. Did not hear that.
yeah, but everything's good now. We had a problem with the generator over at the water plant. We got that one repaired as well. So it was a good week's worth of work. Are there any questions regarding anything?
Tom, I want to reach out to you guys, how well you quickly respond after that storm, and that big limb. Remember when it cleared across that alley, and you guys were up there and took care of that very quickly? And, because that was gonna be a major job for me with just that miniature saw, and we got all that alley and well, all over the whole village. People can say what they want, but that was at least 80 or 90 mile an hour winds, so
Yeah, I think
appreciate what they all do.
That's what we're there for.
okay, thank you.
I know it's stormwater.
No one's here from zoning and building. Does anybody have anything?
Yeah, me too.
Fiscal officer.
Okay, I don't have anything from council at all in regards to, questions about the finances or anything like that. As we move forward to budget season, you'll hear me talk about this, and I think I've talked about the last couple meetings, is that committees are being asked for wish lists, and we will be having a work session, to review the budget and, what that will look like for 2024. So, again, if council members have any questions or have any ideas that they would like to put on as their wish list, feel free to email me or text me, call me. We can include that. Other than that, this one, we don't have the, bank recs. That will be our next council meeting. So I would just ask now if there are no other questions. An approval for the, appropriation status report, the revenue status report, the receipt listing report, the payment listing report, the comparison of budget and appropriated report, the cash summary report, and then you have 2 Rita reports in there as, just because this meeting fell late. Well, the first one fell late, so I just asked for a motion for those.
Is there a motion?
I'll give you that.
I'll second.
David?
Andy, David,
Roll call?
Bill,
Yep.
Joyce,
Yes.
Becky,
Yes.
Yes.
Andy,
Yep.
David,
Yes.
and then I will circulate these around for you guys to sign, please.
Anything else from you?
That's it.
Okay. Committee reports. We'll start with finance. Mr. Drury?
Yeah, I don't really have any real finance comments tonight. We have not met since our last council meeting, but our next meeting will be September 6th at 2:30. That is an open session for anyone who would like to attend, so please be there, be square.
Thank you. Pleasant Township, David?
Don't have a meeting until next month.
Okay. Squad, Joyce?
Same, not until the second Wednesday of September.
Fire, Ross?
We have a meeting this coming Thursday, the 31st. I don't have anything other than that.
Okay. Water, wastewater, Joyce?
Thank you. We met this afternoon at 6 o'clock and got some updates on some things that I wanted to report out. We are trying to prioritize our projects going forward. So we right now have we have actually 4 projects that we're going to be discussing, and I will have more information on those after our next meeting. We're looking into the Community Development Board, the CDBG grant. So we're gonna have to take it to finance to make sure we have seed money in case that grant comes through. Water tower. Tom gave a great report on the water tower, and it looks like that, the Fonzie finding, found no significant impact, so that's what that stands for. And so we were good on the soil testing. We have to have the plans submitted by the end of September of 2023. And then I believe they're going to be meeting just about every month. Tom, is that correct? And that being said, They have slated June of 2024 to begin construction for the new water tower. And meter update, meters are looking good. We're hoping after 2 weeks from today, we should be down to the last few that we have that we're going to have to get quotes on to move forward with what we need to do. Send out letters, talk to the people that live there, and do what we need to do to get those new water meters placed. And that is all I have.
I have a question. Did you say you're down to just a couple of meters after 2 weeks?
Nope, we're down to, we have, after next week, we should be down to around 10.
Okay.
Right, Tom? Yeah. And those 10, we're gonna have to pursue.
They're gonna install 2 to 3 in the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
And then in regard to, I know we had a special meeting regarding finance for the water department, the bulk water machine. I know we approved more money for that. Whatever happened with the bulk water machine?
Bulk water machine has been tabled until 2024 because none of the quotes that we have, that we've received, included installation. And that was just an additional expense that we're not going to be able to come up with this year. Given the fact that we can't put it at the new water facility because they're going to be closed down for construction, so nobody can get in and out of there anyway, it was decided that we were just going to table it till 2024. We're not going to address it anymore this year.
Okay. I was just curious because we did set aside money and we set aside extra money. And then I know Tom was asked, I know we were talking about putting it down at the sewer
We
plant.
are, that's a good
And-
place for it.
Right. And then I know Tom was getting some quotes for the installation portion of it. So that's not going to come to council? You
It
guys
is
just
not.
squashed it at the?
It is not, well, I believe it did come to council, but it didn't include installation.
Right, right.
So, no, we've got to approve, the quote that we get has to include installation.
I understand that.
Yeah, so, no, it's not going to come back this year.
Are you going to try to look at it prior to the bulk water season starting? I know last year it was put off, and then the price went up, and it never happened this year. And so I guess my big concern is it's going to get put off again, and it may not be in place by next year's season. And
Right now, I can't imagine that it would be in place for next season, because I don't know how quickly we can get a new quote next year. What are quotes good for, 90 days, 60 days?
I don't think that would be a problem to get a quote in.
Okay, including installation.
Yeah, with what's gonna happen now with the report that we got back on the water tower, there probably won't be any bulk water sales next year.
Okay. Because there won't be time to get the new one completed.
They're back there, it's gonna be blocked off.
Right.
They're gonna start in June and they're gonna start blocking things off in May, I would imagine.
Okay,
Get ready.
okay.
so that would be another reason for it to be in place down here prior to that. Okay, well, maybe we can talk about it at the budget meeting then.
Committee gives me the okay, I'll have
Yeah.
probably those quotes and something 3 or 4 weeks.
And I would also like to add to that, that it all depends on these other projects that we're going to have coming up, because we're going to need seed money for one of them, and we don't have quotes on the other two yet.
Yeah, well, I understand all that. I mean, when we had that meeting, I guess that's just what I was curious about. We set aside several different funds for the water, several different projects, and that was one of them. And there was money for, it was 111,000, is that what it was? Or was it more than that we set aside?
We set aside 111,000, but I don't know,
That was for EPA remediation.
yeah, that wasn't for bulk water. I
No,
don't
no, no,
think.
no, no. No, we had a meeting right out here, and we set aside extra money for valve, in case a few of those were bad. We set aside money for the bulk water machine. We set aside money for, there was a couple other, for the meters. If we had to blow holes in people's yards, we set aside a significant amount of money for that. Like it was all going to happen really soon before the next budget, because we had to set aside all that money right then, according to the water
We
department.
need a good quote. Once I get the good quote, we can take it back to water and we can talk about it.
Is there any chance that relocating it down in 56 will be any cheaper?
No,
No, that's where he got the quote for.
Yeah.
That would be where the quote.
Yeah, to put it down there.
There's no way it can go back up to water plant. Not with the new tower going there, they're not gonna. You don't want people back there anymore.
I just think it's really important, and I hate to cut off a source of revenue for next year, when we could have had tremendous revenue if that bulk water was already installed this year. And I would hate to see it go by the way again, and then, you know, try to justify why water rates and things are going up and an opportunity for revenue is not happening.
I would agree with that, but I would also like to, and I've said this before, even if I could get a ballpark on what that revenue would be,
Yeah, we've given those before.
I have to go back and look. I have not received that. Even when I was on the water committee, we never got hard and fast numbers of what that would be.
Well, that's just not true.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is true.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
24/7
Yeah.
bulk water.
Okay. But we can do a bulk, I mean, we know what we're getting now. And we're talking about perhaps increasing those bulk water rates, which then we could maybe look at some numbers and see what the revenue would be.
We
But-
did increase the bulk water rates last year. We more than doubled
We're
them.
gonna have to do them again.
For what reason?
If, it's my understanding that the people that come in to get this water aren't even from our town. We're providing a service for people that aren't even living here.
And we more than doubled it
And
for that
that's
reason.
still, we are the lowest, yes, we are. Okay. We can table this for a committee meeting if you like, I'd be glad to take it, but I don't want to take up council's time on this when we've already decided what we're going to do for now. And we're going to table it to 2024. Okay, thank you.
Is that all that you had?
That's all I have.
Street, Becky.
Yes, let's see here. So Tom already gave a pretty good update, and I did want to address just the street sweeping kind of fiasco that we tried to start. I know some letters were sent out to residents to please move their cars. And unfortunately, the street sweeper that we brought in from West Jeff broke down like 2 blocks later. So I saw some residents on Facebook unhappy that they had to move their cars, and we were trying to do a great public service, so it was all with great intentions. You know, we had no idea that the machine would break down, and from what Tom has told me, West Jeff still has intentions to help us, and they're dividing that project up into 3 different days, but I believe the issues with the street sweeper are still not
They said
resolved.
they give a call when they get the repairs done.
Yeah. So hopefully we can still address that. I know it was a big concern to a lot of citizens to try to get, there's a lot of debris, you know, and things in the streets. So, so hopefully that will be addressed soon, and we will let everyone know when that's coming again. And other than that, my next meeting for streets is on September 11th at 6 o'clock.
Thank you. Parks and Rec, also Becky.
We just had our last movie night Saturday. Super Mario Brothers is a really cute movie, and we had a nice turnout. Tonight, I'm going to ask for a motion here in a minute. We had a special Parks and Rec meeting regarding softball tournament. Parks and Rec thinks it's a great idea. It's going to provide an opportunity for the youth league to make money through fundraising, through selling concessions. It's going to provide the Parks and Rec a little bit of income because we're going to split the parking cost, and then the host league, the Ohio Generals, will be making some of the money. And what this is, the softball tournaments will be September 22nd and 24th, possibly Friday night, 9/22, or Friday evening, not nighttime. We won't have any night games. If the bracket turns out that way based on the number of teams. And then the second tournament will be 10/21 and 10/22 with a possible Friday evening, October the 20th date for the same reason. Parks and Rec Director Jeff Martin will be in charge of the event, with the Ohio Generals manager being the tournament director for those tournaments. All of the teams have their own $1 million insurance policies. And for their teams, every player, every coach, all teams are mandated by their league to carry background checks. So they do have all the proper background checks in place on all adults associated with the team and coaching. These tournaments cost our village $0. And like I said, they will serve as a fundraiser to 3 different groups. It'll also, with them being in town 2 days for sure, possibly 3, twice, once in October and once in September, will also just help the economy in our community. They'll be buying gas here, they'll be buying pizzas. One of them falls on the same day as a street market, so I'm sure some of those entrepreneurs with their booths will reap the rewards of a lot of extra people being in town. The host league, again, the Ohio Generals, they provide the sanctioned umpires, the field chalk they're going to buy locally from Reiterman's. They'll provide the temporary home run fences, which are just like a snow fence. They'll put out 200 feet on each each diamond. They'll provide the balls and extra porta-johns. It's just kind of a win-win for everyone. So I just wanted to, yeah.
Okay, motion to allow the softball tournament for the Ohio Generals to be held at Mason Park. I have the dates, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't hear you say one of them. September the 23rd, the 24th, and 10/21 and 10/22.
Right, but I also included there could be a possible games on that Friday before each one. So it'd be 9/22 and 10/20. That'd be based on if they have the brackets, if they have a certain amount of teams, they may have to get a couple games out of the way Friday. So, yeah, so that's the motion, and I'll make
Becky's making,
that motion.
I'll second it.
Bill?
Roll call.
Roll call. Joyce?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes,
Ross?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes?
David?
Yes.
And Bill?
Yes.
Motion passed.
okay, great. And our next meeting will be September the 11th at 5 o'clock. Thank you. I skipped my meetings confused for a second. Okay, that's all I have on that.
Thank you. Record of retention, Andy.
We have not met since we last got together, so our next meeting will actually be on September the 1st at 8 a.m., if I have that correct, hopefully.
Correct.
Is that Friday?
It is. It will be September already. How
Yikes. Wow.
about that?
Yeah, it's really close.
Nuisance and abatement, Joyce.
Thank you. We met today. Some things that I've noticed that I've been seeing through my drive-throughs in the village as I go through. I'm seeing some tires on porches, tires at the side of houses, and we can't have tires on porches and tires up to houses. I've seen a little bit of furniture along the sides of some houses. So those people, the residents that have that, they will be getting tags issued to them. And hopefully we can reach them by phone when Courtney and I make the phone calls, and we can talk to them about it. But we will be moving forward, because that is a very hazardous situation, in my opinion. And we also have an ordinance against that. Motorhomes on streets. Jack, if I could just address this with you for just a moment. The motorhome on John Street is back, and it isn't moving. It isn't moving. So if you could take a look at that and see what we can do to get that off of the street, please. And I guess my question is, if they don't, would you consider towing it, or how would you?
I'd ticket it first,
Ticket it first, okay, that's fair, that's fair.
because it's licensed and
I understand. That's the only one that I've seen lately. There was another one. I did see a second one, but it's gone now. So that's the only one we're dealing with that I know of. Also wanted to let everyone know that we have decided to have, to open up the street garage on October 14th. That's a Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon. We're going to open up the street garage. It will be monitored by various members of the nuisance committee, and you can take items up to the garage that you have that you need to dispose of. Again, there will be someone posted there, and you will be advised, no microwaves, no refrigerators, no tires, no paint, no refrigerants. I'm sure there's more to the list. Computers, no electronics or anything with refrigerants in it, right? So we're gonna keep reminding you of that. It will be in the newsletter. Marcy has kindly offered to put that in the newsletter for us, and if you have any information on that, you can give a call here at Town Hall, and they can probably answer any questions. I would ask for Tom, but, I know Tom's out in the field a lot, so we'll make sure that we let Misty know what we're doing, so she'll be fully informed on that. The next meeting will be September 25th, and that is all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Certainly.
Safety Block Watch, Bill.
Nothing else to report since our last meeting. Our next meeting will be on September 5th at 6 p.m.
Okay, thank you. Planning, Andy.
It was a great planning meeting on August the 22nd. We heard a request to rezone a piece of property from an existing R1 designation to a proposed R3 designation, and the committee made a recommendation to pass this along to council. What this would allow us to do is build more houses and have more families come to Mount Sterling. So I'm pleased to say that we have another builder who's interested in continuing with the development of the village, and that they have proposed a piece of property which is right sandwiched in between two existing developments, so it would be a nice infill and not something way out someplace. It would be a real nice complement to the town. And so after hearing their proposal and their request to rezone from R1 and move it to R3, we said, yes, we would recommend to council to do that.
We need to do that tonight, then?
I think we did, what was our ultimate designation on
Yeah,
that?
so the attorney has to look at that sort of thing, so it's still being reviewed.
Gotcha.
But it will be
Okay.
placed on
But
30 days.
where is it at? Is it where Beachy was gonna
Mhm.
build?
It's the
Okay.
Beachy home.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yes, our next meeting will be on in theory, September 26th, if we decide to meet again. At 6 p.m.
Alrighty. Zoning, Becky.
We recently had a meeting with just one fence variance that was applied for, and we approved it. And as far as I know, there's no other outstanding issues at this time, and there's no meeting set at this time.
Okay, thank you. Tree beautification, also Becky.
No meeting or updates since our last council meeting. I'll notify when the next meeting is. It's one of those committees that you don't have to have it every single month. We're required to have it 6. We've had it quite a bit more than that, but we will get back together soon, so I'll let everyone know.
Thank you. That takes us to our ordinance and resolution for the evening.
Okay, it's ordinance 2023-08, an ordinance amending ordinance 2019-14 for the removal of the mayor's medical benefits. This is on the second reading.
Discussion?
Go ahead.
I just want to restate again for the record why we originally implemented medical benefits and a very small raise that took effect 2020 for the mayor position. We wanted to make the position more attractive for a larger base of candidates from all walks of life, not just the elite or wealthy. I did want to just push back a little bit on a couple of the things that were said, that this is finishing up the state requirements is not really completely accurate. It's misleading for some reasons. This is a forecast. It's not actual legislation. page 5, note 2, nature of presentation that we did submit when we came off fiscal emergency. It says the assumptions disclosed are those that management believes are significant to forecast. There will be differences between forecasted and actual results. Because events and circumstances frequently do not occur as expected, those differences may be material. And then another thing I wanted to point out when I saw this legislation was coming before us, I knew that it wasn't probably accurate in the way it was coming. I knew there were some election laws and things that were affected, and I did just want to, for clarification's sake, refer to section of the Ohio Revised Code 731.13, compensation and bonds of village officers, clerks, and employees. And section 73.01, salaries shall not be changed during a term. And basically what these say, the legislative authority of a village shall fix the compensation and bonds of all officers, clerks, employees of the village except as provided by the law. The legislative authority shall, in the case of elected officials, fix their compensation for the ensuing term of office at a meeting held not later than 5 days prior to the last day fixed by law for filing as a candidate for such office, which would have been August the 4th. So that date has come and gone. The compensation shall not be increased or diminished during the term for which any officer is elected or appointed. This section does not prohibit the payment of increased cost, continuing to provide the identical benefits to an officer at his term of office. So I guess what I just want to make clear to council is that you are now trying to pass legislation that cannot become effective until 2028. It's not effective for this next term. I know all of us sitting here are up for election prior to 2028. If we're going to start making legislative decisions more than 4 years out, it's a little bit questionable to me. Again, I just wanted to set the record straight that this in no way will save us $130,000 for next term, because if whoever gets that position chooses to not use insurance, it will cost us $0. If they choose to get single, it'll cost us a certain amount. If they choose to get family, it'll cost us a certain amount. That's just the Ohio Revised Code, that you cannot change the benefits this close to an election. So I just wanted to make that clear to everyone, and I guess that's all I have to say about that.
Anyone else? Okay, so I'll ask a motion to put this on the second reading.
You've got it?
I'll second.
Okay,
Andy, David?
yes. Roll call?
Becky?
No.
Ross?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Passed on the second reading.
Okay, thank you. Roundtable, anyone?
Oh, on Roundtable, I had a bunch of people came down from northern Ohio, and they came down across the town square here and saw the monument, and they said they live in a major town outside of Medina, and they don't even have the Space Force flag like we do. And so it made me feel good that the American Legion was one step ahead of somebody else. And also at the museum, we got Governor John Bricker's original desk that he used. And Andy, you know about it because you helped pack it in, but it's actually the one he'd used there, and it's quite a find for the museum. I was telling Steve Chambers, we're getting more stuff in this museum. I almost call it like a little Washington D.C. museum, like
It
the
really is.
Smithsonian.
It's
And we're
the-
really building this up, and
Steve has some artifacts that are better than the Historical Society
Yeah,
has.
and we-
They are really, really nice.
And we're also, according to the American Legion, next to some major small villages, we have one of the biggest World War II collections. So we're growing by leaps and bounds for a small village. I'm really proud of what we're doing.
I had a couple things. September the 23rd is our annual street market and car show. And we'll be working with the streets department and Tom to make sure all the right signs and with the sheriff's department are up. We expect it to be even bigger and better than last year. Really excited about that. And then I also wanted to, with the election season coming up, I I got a phone call from Dan Dool at the Mercantile, and the Chamber of Commerce, every time there's a new election, hosts Meet the Candidates Night. That date has been set for October the 10th. It's a Tuesday. It's exactly 1 month from Election Day. And I believe it's at 7 o'clock. I can confirm that. So I know there are 2 council members running, a mayor's position, and I'm not sure, I think there's some township, is there a township trustee?
Yeah, there's one coming up for the township.
Okay, so all of those people will be invited to speak.
There'll
And
be somebody there for the school issues. Becky, have you
oh,
heard?
oh, I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah.
I was also approached just yesterday by a member of the committee working to get new schools, and they wanted me to ask council if we would consider going out and just doing a tour of the facilities. Non-committal, he said you could have a council meeting there, and I thought that's probably not gonna work for us, because it has to be recorded and everything, but I did say I was definitely interested, and he wanted me to invite council administration out to do just a tour of the facilities. So if that's something you guys would entertain, I'll ask him to look for a date. Would you guys be interested in that?
Always.
Okay, great. I will let them know that the interest is there, and,
Come here, we got a farm field to
yeah, yeah. I know, I know.
A lot of
The
alumni in
perfect
this
little
room.
spot I'm thinking of. But, so,
Do you have anything else?
well, nope, that's it.
Okay. Anyone else have anything? I hope everybody has an enjoyable weekend, and I hope the weather will be right, and,
Take it.
yeah, that's all I
It's supposed to be 100 next week.
They said again.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you very much,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Excuse me, David.
Mayor, again, thank you for.
I went
Oh,
to
you're very
Westland.
welcome, Jack.
Well, Bill and George, you both have a good evening.
Thanks, Dave, you too.